Today is almost the last day of April, which is wild because it means that I haven't seen you in literally like a month and a half, which is just honestly too crazy. I am here with my co-teacher, Q. Q, say hi to the kiddos. He's kind of a shy co-teacher, but he's very good. He's a very gentle. I think y'all would honestly probably like him better than me, which I don't blame you. I like him better than me sometimes too. Anyway, today's video is going to walk you through how to create an argument using ThinkCERCA Step 5. It's a little bit, it requires energy and it requires effort. So I'm going to walk you through how to do it with a different article, the same one that I've been using to model the other steps for you. And then you will go through and actually do the same things in Step 5 for your article about extended learning time. So let's get ready to rock and roll. As I mentioned, everyone, our learning objectives for today are that I can create a claim for an argument, and I can build an argument with claim, reasons, evidence, and explanation. So we are going to do that through ThinkCERCA Step 5. I'm going to walk you through this live, so I haven't sort of broken this down and recorded it before, but I just want to show you real time kind of what my thought process is and what I do as I approach a text and kind of tackle something like this. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up the article. Now, the first thing that I notice when I pull up the article is that I'm just looking here at the topic overview. What I would like to do is actually click Step 2 so that I have the article in front of me with all of the highlights that I've already made, because I think that's going to help me find my evidence from the text easier. So once I have that pulled up, I'm going to go over to Step 5, build an argument, and I'm going to go ahead and click that. So the first thing that I'm doing is coming up with a claim. Now, as you'll remember from your direct instruction videos that you've watched on ThinkCERCA, and just from other work that we've done with iReady, etc., a claim is your position or your opinion that you are trying to prove in your writing. So in this case, because the article is about student uniforms, the question that I'm answering, and then therefore the claim that I'm making, is going to be about, do school uniforms improve student learning? So I have to choose either yes, I think they do, or no, they don't. But I'm going to write it in a more formal tone, so I'm not going to mention myself, because obviously if I'm the one writing this, then I don't need to say I or me, because people will already understand that it's my sort of my belief or my position. So I'm going to go ahead and say school uniforms do improve student, thankful for spell check, School uniforms do improve student learning for many reasons. So I've got my claim finished. And now you saw that little box fly over to your work. It has captured this and saved it automatically. Okay. So anyway, I'm ready for my next step. So I will kind of go through, and there's a link to each of these things. So I'm going to go ahead and hit reason first. Okay. So provide reasons why I believe my claim. So I'm going to think back to kind of what I read about in the text, but I'm not going to pull I'm not going to pull actual quotes from the text yet, because that is going to be my evidence, just like an erase response. So a reason that I think school uniforms improve student learning is students don't get distracted by what they or other people are wearing. That's one reason. Excuse me. Students don't have to sort of prove themselves to be anything based on their clothes or clothing choices. And so if this was going to be a 5-paragraph essay with 3 body paragraphs, each body paragraph would get one reason. So that's why I'm picking 3 reasons. So students don't get distracted, they don't have to prove themselves, and uniforms create a sense of belonging to the school, and pride for the school, which is kind of like, that was the last thing that the author mentioned and talked about. Okay, so I've got my reasons here. Okay, now I actually, now that I'm looking at this, think that I would like to have my reasons each in their own box, because that will help me kind of see my 3 separate reasons. And then I just don't have to like go back to this box every time. So I'm going to actually do that just because I'm kind of a visual learner, and it helps me to see in order like what it is, or how I'm like organizing my thoughts. Okay. So I'm copying these things, copy, paste, and then deleting. Okay, so I've got 3 reasons. Now this is pretty cool because you can see if I click over here with this little finger icon, I can move these around. So whichever one I want to start with is I can put first, my second, my third. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and pull a piece of evidence. So I'm going to move this under my first reason. So I need to find some evidence from the text to support my claim. So they don't get distracted by what they or other people are wearing. So I need to go ahead and find something in the text that deals with that. Study. Okay, so I'm going to look directly at my highlights to see about this. Okay, I think looking at this, this quote here about like being harassed or threatened because of their clothes, I think that that kind of deals with, yeah, my note even says focus on academics. So it's like not getting distracted. So I'm going to see if I can click. Well, I can't really click it and move, so that's helpful. So I'll just see if I can highlight it. I can't even highlight it. Really? ThinkCERCA? Okay, anyway, I'll just type that in. When students don't worry about being harassed or threatened because of their clothes, they can focus more on academic achievement. Okay, so I know that feels kind of annoying to type that, but this is helpful because literally like what I type in these steps, I'll be able to just like move over for step 6 to create my essay, because all of it's saving in my work, so then I can just copy and paste it in. So feels like work now, but it will pay off later. So I have a piece of evidence for my first reason. I'm going to go ahead and find a piece of evidence for my second reason. They don't have to prove themselves. Okay, so I really liked the part about kids from wealthy families dress exactly the same as kids from poor families. So there's like really no like difference in how folks who have a lot of money and folks who don't have a lot of money, how they look in school because of their uniforms. So I think that's a good one. So I'm going to go ahead and type that. Kids from wealthy families dress exactly the same as kids from poor families. And then I actually really like this quote that the author said about the uniform code levels the playing field. I think that's good evidence. So I'm actually going to have 2 pieces of evidence that I want to use in that body paragraph. Uniform code levels the playing field. So I'll see how I can incorporate both of those quotes. And then for my last reason, okay. So a piece of evidence for that last reason is going to come from the author's perspective. So Shannon Ford. So Shannon Ford, a student who wears school uniforms, states that, quote, and then I'm going to bring in this quote. Oh my gosh, maybe I can copy and paste that. I can. I just wasn't trying hard enough, y'all. Okay, so even easier. All right, great. Perfect. So I've got 3 reasons. I've got evidence for each of my reasons. And now comes my reasoning. Now this part you're like, Miss Stewart, what is the difference between a reason and reasoning? Well, you can think of reasoning as kind of like the E in race, the explanation part. So just like in a race response, you're going to want to like explain how your evidence kind of supports your reason. So I'll model that with this first one. Students don't get distracted by what they or other people are wearing. Evidence: when students don't worry about being harassed or threatened because of their clothes, they can focus more on academic achievement. So I'm going to kind of explain here, how does this quote here prove my reason? So, students sometimes argue about things that they have or that other people have. And specifically, I'm thinking about like when y'all were like, oh, can I hold the silent ball? Can I hold the silent ball? And you would kind of like tiff about like who has the silent ball, who doesn't have it. So that's what I'm thinking about. But I also, I think that it applies here too. So students sometimes argue about things that they have or that other people have. So if students wear uniforms, they won't argue or feel threatened by other students' clothing, and can then focus or then give more of their attention to their work. Okay, so again, just kind of like a race response, which is one reason why we really have just been practicing race responses, because a good race response is just the same as a good body paragraph in an essay. Okay, so I have my reason, my evidence, my reasoning, and then I'm just going to repeat that process for the rest of this. Now, counter argument, this one's new. So if you click this, I really like counter arguments. They make your personal argument stronger because you are looking at something from the other perspective. So like if I'm trying to argue that uniforms are good, are helpful, I would sort of bring in an idea from the other side that says uniforms aren't helpful, and I would give one reason that they think that uniforms aren't helpful. Now, for us, I don't think you need a counter argument in every body paragraph. I would just try and put in another perspective from, or like in one of your body paragraphs. So I'm just, for the sake of modeling, I'm just going to put my counter argument in my same paragraph that I have been working on. Okay, so while other people believe that uniforms can help students express themselves, so that's the reason from the other side, and it's true, like not uniforms, just like clothing choice. So while other people believe that clothing choice can help students express themselves, and then I'm going to argue against their counter argument, it's not worth giving up academic focus. Okay, so I'm pointing out something that the other side would say, and then I am countering it again. I'm saying like, well, that's true, but this is why my view is still better or more important. And y'all are good at that. I know, I know that many times when I have said like, oh, it's really important for us to spend 30 minutes of Lexia a day. And you're like, well, but here's why it's not important. And then I come back at you with a counter argument. That's exactly what you are doing here. Okay. So by the end of step 5, you should have a claim. You should have 3 reasons, evidence for each reason, and then your reasoning or explanation and 1 counter argument. So I know this takes a while, which is why tomorrow you're just going to have like a ThinkCERCA direct instruction sort of like slide to go through, but you really have through the rest of this week. I will look at your claim, your reasons, your evidence this weekend and give you some feedback so that you will be ready to actually write your essay next week, using the bulk of the work that you have done today and the rest of this week. Okay. So if you have any questions, let me know. I'd be happy to help you. We can Zoom. You can message me on Dojo. Sorry, I forgot what I was thinking about. You can text me on Google. my Google Voice. I will put that in the document for today, and I'll link the document and everything below in the ThinkCERCA. I'll link it below this video too. So good luck. I know you're going to do great, and I'm looking forward to seeing your work. See you later.